Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Modern Engineers. You join me aboard the Thunder, who's acting flagship for this operation. In fact, I'm about to order a speed change here real quick. We're closing in a little bit too close to Ares, and I want to keep some distance. So, remote control master, speed change 20. Now, she should pick up the pace here, and we should be getting the rest of the fleet to pick up the pace here as well in a couple of minutes. What is do not delete? I'll figure that out. So just a heads up for those who want to try and do something like this yourself. It is a lot of micromanaging. You can't use the AI systems if you want them to follow a very specific path. Don't do that at all because the AI is just going to collide with whatever it can. All right, we're going to go to order the speed change here as well, 20. That's a good distance, 1 kilometer. Speeding up. And then we're going to order the same speed change to Terror. Now you may notice a bunch of other remote controls. Those are all for different sensors and suites, so they have reference data on compass bearings and stuff like that. Now, you join me on Thunder as well, a little bit early into the transit, because I have to do some gun maintenance. As you remember, Turret 3 from the sea trials was a little bit finicky. So we had to do a little bit of gun maintenance before we go to the rest of the fleet. Alright, turret maintenance is done. I didn't do much, I was just playing around with the settings while the gun reloaded with the new rounds that we reloaded in port, so should be good to go. Now, I'm going to speed up the rest of this transit because it's going to be a lot of micromanaging of the ships, but you know what? I'll see you all when it's all finished because this transit takes about an hour and a half, so I don't think you guys need to sit here and watch an entire hour and a half of me fiddling with boats. So I'll see you all when we're at open sea. Now that we're at open sea, I'm going to disable the autopilot on Terra here, who's been having some issues with her stability recently. It's been rearing its ugly head. So now we're going to try and engage Fleet Link, or at least part of it. I want to try and do some fleet maneuvers with these ships. Now, the easiest way is by using the in-game AI modules, and I have been experimenting with this for years, and I don't even know if this will work this time around, but we can see. So we go to the terminal. We're going to grab the AI modules. We're going to grab the move. We're going to turn on the behavior, and we're going to turn on the recorder task. Turn on its behavior. Now, I'm getting some error. Oh, turn those on. Don't like conflicting blocks, but we'll see. All right, next we're going to grab this beacon here. I don't know what the best minimum distance is. I don't know if it's minimum distance to the beacon or if it's minimum distance to the waypoints. So we're just going to put this as high as we can go to avoid collisions. And we're going to click the thunder. And we're going to add 3 waypoints. Hit play. No. Record, I think. I'll be honest, this is all new to me, so I'm struggling with the idea behind it. So allegedly what you do is you set the waypoints in accordance to the beacon, and it should follow or stay within that area of the beacon. We're going to turn on the behavior. Collision avoidance is good. Speed limit, we'll set your max speed to 15. And then I guess we can give this a shot. I think. Alright, I'm checking my document here to see if this is exactly what we need. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start moving. Hang on. What am I doing? Oh, I turned them on here too, so we're going to avoid that. There we go. Now we're moving. Distance is gaining. Great. I guess we can try turning and see if that does anything. She's not moving. But the AI is in control. There's her stability problem. Kicking our butt again. Does look like she is trying to move. I know Ares doesn't have these modules, so she's just going to have to go on patrol. But you know what? I'm just going to go and try and meet up with Erebus here at her rendezvous. She's still about 8 kilometers out, so we'll go to her waypoint and we'll see if we can try and get Terra's Fleet Link to work. And if not, then we'll probably send a couple of these ships on patrol or send them home. Still doesn't look like it's doing much. And I was really hoping that was it. I was really hoping that would be fixed. But you know what? It's alright. Oh, hey. She's moving. What if 300 meters is a threshold? I don't know. They don't put descriptions on this. I don't think she's moving toward me. Oh well, we're just gonna go to the rendezvous and just carry on. Oh, she's definitely moving. What the? Alright, you know what? We're gonna access here again. See if I can reset any of these tasks. Oh, her behavior's off. Hmm. Status is moving. There she goes. Hey! It's working. Or at least it seems like it's working. It's definitely moving. Hmm. Her propeller is turning. Eh, she's moving. No way. Was that it? It was like, all I had to do was turn the damn thing on. Oh god. Okay, so context. I've been working on this particular part of the system for like a year and a half now to get the ships to move in formation. Fleet Link is kind of a mad mess of a system. It's supposed to share telemetry, data, and be able to follow information and execute orders. So far, I've only gotten the telemetry and the data part to work, and that recently failed to light off during this underway. So I'm surprised right now. The ship is definitely moving. Yeah, that I've never gotten this side of the Fleet Link to work. That's amazing. She's definitely closing in. Oh, so exciting. Cool. Now, all I'm going to do is head off to the rendezvous with Erebus here. We're going to go and rendezvous with Erebus, and we're going to try and see her and get her into the formation, and then we'll be ready for the first part of the exercise for fleet formations and stuff like that. So let me just double check here with OSS here. She's definitely moving. She's changed course, and she's following behind us. Probably limited in speed, but I believe the speed is set to 15. She's going 12. That's insane. It is moving. I never thought I'd get this thing to work. She's listing, but I think that's more of the stabilization than anything else. The AI doesn't like, well, the remote control doesn't like the stabilization of the Terror classes. It'll have to be something that gets addressed in the next class of design. But yeah, we're gonna head over and go to the rendezvous point with Erebus, and then we're gonna try and get the rest of the fleet linked together, and we'll try to do some formations. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Back on the operation. I was always expected to take an entire day just to get out of the harbor. So I moved Erebus in the middle of the night. Decided to skip most of it because you don't want to sit here and wait for an entire fleet to get together. But this will be the first time I engage Fleet Link with all 3 ships. This will be the biggest formation I've ever done, and this will be the first time I've done it, and I'm super excited. So let's get started. What the hell are you doing? You're supposed to be in front of the battleship. Alright, I'll stop. So, Ares doesn't have the fleet formation system, so she's just on a pre-programmed path. She's actually going to the patrol points. Okay, looks like they're gonna miss each other so long as she keeps going. That stabilization is really kicking their butts. What are you doing? Stop. Stop. Oh, wait, no, keep going. Keep going. Go, 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 go. Go, full throttle. Crap, they're gonna collide. Yep, there's a collision alarm. Damn it. Alright, don't fight them. Just let them continue to go. We'll correct the issue. Damn it. And the sensor's off. Collision avoided. Alright, I'll stop. Look at them out there. Bunch of stupid ducks. Just floating. So close. So close to getting it to work. And they collide literally within the first 5 minutes of me using the damn thing. Alright, I had to fly over and inspect the damage. Ship's still trying to move. Not sure why or where. But we'll probably have to move her manually back into position. But so far, it looks like we got off with minimal damage. In fact, I don't think we got any damage. This is right where she collided. I think the list is the AI block, not the actual ship. Okay, that could have been worse. Could have been literally patching this up and sending her home. And I'm starting to think that maybe 13 as a whole number was probably not the best decision. But I'm not superstitious, so there's that. Alright, let's turn off the AI blocks and then we'll move her manually. Alright, another 20 minutes wasted. She should be in position now. This time I put her just a little bit off the bow so she doesn't collide or try to run away. Still not seeing her move. I got Ares back underway, so we'll see. Her propeller's turning, so I guess that's a good sign. I don't know. I'm starting to debate putting Terror on patrol and then putting Erebus on our way back home because I'm not certain that this fleet link system works. It looks like it's working for Terror, who is just dragging slowly behind us, but I don't know if it's working for Ares. It might be an issue with the actual system installed, but we'll see. I know I had to repair it just before we started it, but I'm not seeing any movement out of her. Not yet. See if we can fix it. Her behavior is on. She's set to 20 meters a second. We'll set her to 25. Says it's moving to waypoint. She's moving. No way. Oh my god. It works. This is so exciting. I love this. And just like that, good moment's gone. She stopped moving for some reason. Not sure why. I think something's triggering the collision avoidance, and she just stops. Which is not so great for when she's in the front of the pack. She's actually turning toward me now. Oh, are we gonna have another one? No. Bad. 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 Okay, it's fine. We're not going to collide as long as I keep straight and I don't move aggressively. She's trying to move again. I wonder if it's a waypoint thing. There goes the collision alarm on both ships. No. 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 That's not good. Just keep going straight. We'll probably bump sides. We won't damage each other. There it is. Damn it. Another one? Alright, well this is going to be a minute, because we're obviously moving with each other, and I don't want to turn off our systems or we might damage each other. Or too late. Alright, I pulled away. There's quite substantial damage to the SATCOM system on Erebus, but nothing too crazy. She's still not moving, I'm not sure why. But I'm just going to move forward and try to reset her system, I guess, is the best method I can think of. But it's not too terrible right now. I'm just trying to keep Terror from colliding with Erebus. But I don't know if that's going to work. She's still not moving. I wonder if I damaged her propulsion system. No. We're about to have another collision, aren't we? Should be fine if they avoid each other. They're supposed to be set to collision avoidance. I don't think that setting works. And collide. Damn it. This is not going well. I'll stop. Alright, well, I'm gonna spend the next probably 40 minutes unfucking this, so I'm gonna speed this up. Alright. See you guys when it's working, I guess? So after much buggering about, it turns out that it's just a combination of the settings issues. The ships don't like it when you mess with them too much, but they are working, more or less. I think it's something to do with the waypoints every now and then. When it gets to where it's supposed to go, it kind of just resets and stops the ship dead in its tracks, and it's really annoying. So we're going to move on to the next task, which is, thank you, super loud. Making terror. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next task, which is a live fire exercise. I'm going to try and get the ships shooting together. If not, we'll move on to the last task of the day and try to get the helicopter out and do some flight ops. I've already done quite a bit of live fire here with these 300s, and I'm finding out their accuracy is pretty lame. I'll hit the beach or I won't hit the beach. So I'm going to swap over to Terra here and do a 5-inch gun shoot with her. The AI has also been super uncooperative and letting the ships collide with each other, which is super fun. That's much better spacing. Oh yeah, much better. That'll wrap up the live fires. Already feel like this video is already going to go pretty long, so we're just going to start moving on to the next task. Last task for my group sail here is we're going to go to Patrol Box 2 here and start doing some flight quarters with the drone that I built. It's not much, just a little helicopter, just for testing purposes and recon. Not super crazy. So we're already going to go ahead and order the ships to go ahead to full speed here. And we're going to try and get to Patrol Box 2 so we don't collide with Ares when we're driving around. I will admit, it's been nice having these formation systems working to see the ships moving with formation rather than against each other. What's her fuel state? She's going to need an unwrap here soon. She's already at 50. Probably do that tomorrow. I said something nice. She stopped, didn't she? She's closing in too close. Okay, now her propeller... Nope. We're going to collide, aren't we? Son of a... Alright, let's try and stop her. Turn off the behavior. It's not... We're too close. Come on, move out of the way. Taking manual control. Definitely heard a crunch that time. Definitely caused damage. I say something nice and then the AI system fucks up. Well, we're gonna have to all stop and see what the damage is on Erebus to see if she can continue with the operation. Because she's dead stop now. Alright, I'll stop. Alright, looking at the damage, doesn't look too bad. I got her underway again, so hopefully we'll be able to keep going. Right now, I've just reset the AI so that she's behind the ship rather than in front. Seems to be working better with the AIs trailing rather than being next to each other. It looks like we got off pretty easy, just this panel's damaged. And it looks like we might have lost one of the lamps, but that's okay. We have our little repair locker back here. We'll fix the lamp when we get to port. And then we'll just put this patch panel here. And then we'll repaint it when we get back to port. Must have had like a dozen collisions, and poor Erebus here has been taking the brunt of it all. Okay. It might be worth it for that, just to see them moving together. Work is still needed, but it works so cool. Yeah, it's cool. I'll admit it. It's cool to see them moving in formation. It does seem to work better with them trailing behind rather than in front. I wonder if that's just an AI issue. I do want to get a closer look at them on the fantail here. It also seems to be that when they find their waypoint, they just sort of dead stop. So I wonder if you're using multiple waypoints might help. Maybe multiple beacon sources, kind of like GPS. Yeah, that makes it kind of worth it, even though we've been colliding a lot. All right, last task. We're gonna get the bird in the air. This is the little bird that I built off screen. Although I did record it, so you should see it here pretty soon, hopefully. And if post-editing me remembers to put it in. But it is a small aircraft. It looks like the rotor's damaged. I had planned to build 2 drones, but with the amount of tasks that were on this underway, I didn't have the time to build another drone. So we're going to go ahead and lift the flight deck. Ooh, frame rate there dropped. There we go. That was crazy. Still dropping. I don't know what that was. Not seeing anything on my error menu. Aside from, you know, the usual. But, you know. So the battleship has a concealed hangar, as you can see. So we can lower them underneath the deck, not worry about the blast damage from the guns or any other combat issues. So far, the battleships, aside from the Ares, is the only one that has a hangar. So I'm going to have to actually repair this rotor. And it looks like Erebus has stopped again. Alright, well, let's see how much a rotor costs. Oh, that's not so bad. I think I have those parts on board. Okay, I can repair that. Okay, repaired. And ready to go. Looks like it. Got the power going. We're going to do some minor things here. I did have the parts on board, luckily. We're going to turn on her batteries. They're small batteries, so this aircraft is not designed for really long flights. I think if I did the math right, she does about an hour. We're going to reset her camera, because that's the only way I can actually fly with this thing. So, control, view with camera. Oh, that was the wrong button. Or at least the mag plate. My bad. We're going to set these back on here. That's the wrong one. There it goes. Good controls, and now I'll reset the camera. Grab the gimbal control here. Okay, good. Okay, post-editing me here. This is actually from the last play session that I did. I rolled the helicopter out from this little hangar that I built it in. It's a small little gyrocopter, and it's actually quite little versatile little thing. It's got about an hour of charge time in its batteries, and it takes about 15 minutes to recharge. I actually was doing a little test hop here and realized that I had completely forgotten to put on a gyroscope, which, big oof. So I'm going to put that back on there. But I did add some hard points, so she can technically carry more weapons, or any weapons, to be completely honest, but I probably wouldn't use it for weapons at all. It'll probably to extend its range with some fuel tanks with some batteries in them or something like that. It's actually pretty nice too, because she only takes about 15 minutes to recharge. The antenna range, though, is a little bit weak. As you can see here, the connection dropped out, and I was less than 100 meters away, and I was even bouncing the signal. But she's pretty stable because I lost connection, and she still flies actually really well. Now, she's not hard to build. Actually, really cheap too. She's literally only one thruster pointed down, and it's literally just spacebar. Usually is what's flying her. I don't go very fast with it, and the actual camera is on a gimbal, so I can control which way it's looking, which makes it great for recon. The only downside is that there is no third-person cam, so it's a little bit hard to fly in that retrospect. But as you can see, pretty simple and pretty easy. There's another thing too. I've noticed when it comes to naval aircraft, or when you're landing on another ship, you tend to have an issue with the locking plate. So if you put a magnet on the ship, you'll actually break the aircraft when it catches it, or when you release it. Most aircraft on an actual ship will have something what's called a bear trap, and they'll have a hook underneath the aircraft, and what it'll do is it'll land on the bear trap, and it'll hook it into the net, and it'll stop the aircraft from bouncing up and down. Now here, we're doing a reverse bear trap. The magnet is on the aircraft, or in this case, the magnet, instead of a hook, will actually catch the flight deck instead of the other way around. This is actually, I found, the cheapest and easiest solution to the actual problem. And when I've done other aircraft hops similar to this with another gyrocopter that I was testing with, it resulted in better success in actually catching the aircraft. So keep that in mind if you ever actually want to build one of these things for your own ships. It's actually quite fun. I do recommend it. Aircraft's good to go. So we're going to go ahead and go into our combat center, which definitely needs an upgrade. That's definitely not on the list. Well, it is on the list. We're going to connect here to the copter, and we're just going to basically take off. All right. And up, 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 up. Now, in my experience with using these helicopters, I have found that when the ships are moving about 12 meters a second, that's when you're pretty stable. You want to make sure that you remember that. Okay, we're good and clear. I'm going to move my little controller here because it's definitely not lining up with my horizon. There it is. Okay, at least I can see it. It's better than before. Now, you do want to kind of keep in mind how fast your ship is going, because basically you're going to kind of kerbal the landing, if that makes sense. You're going to want to know how fast your ship is going so that you know what your relative velocity is compared to it. Now, we're going to go and fly over toward Agaris here, who I've already verified has a green deck, and we're going to try and land on her flight deck and do some practice hops. And given the time, we might only do one, and I'd rather not fly this thing at night until I know whether or not it's safe. So it's going to take us a minute, but we'll fly over there. Almost there, just now on the overhead flight. Now, you should see a bunch of lights, hopefully, and we should be getting pretty close to actually landing on this thing. We're going to have to slow down because we're going 13 meters a second, which isn't all that fast, but Agaris here is going 12, so she's actually going 24 compared to relative. So we're going to want to slow down, but it's also a good idea to keep her in sight so you don't actually lose her. 6 is good. Noticed I turned my power off by accident. Oh well, just don't hit Y. Alright, we're gonna let her fall a little bit. These annoying errors are gonna be the death of me, I feel. Alright, now we're going to want to try and catch up, because otherwise she's just going to run away from us. Now, it should be 12 meters a second. You can see how fast they can get away from you. Now, I should have my SGSI on, or at least the glide slope indicator should be on. Don't see it though yet, but that's okay. Should just be cruising at 12 meters a second. Nice and easy. So now that we're doing 13, should be basically just slowly gaining on her. See how she's getting closer? And don't mind the lineup. As long as we get on the flight deck, that's all that really matters. Just nice and easy. Don't go too fast. Don't try to rush it. Just nice, slow, controlled movements. And helicopters are a little different. So when you pull back, you're going to gain altitude. When you go nose down, you're going to lose altitude. So you want to kind of keep the throttle hovered around that and keep that in mind. And also, fun fact about space engineers here, you can see my altitude is based on the terrain and not the actual ocean. So they're pretty much useless. So keep that in mind. So you want to use a lot of visual references. So in this case, the ship is only 120 meters, but I'm using her IFF tower, which I know is about 20 meters tall, or the mast, I mean, so that I kind of get a gauge of how my actual altitude is. Now that we're closer, lined up, made sure that the flight deck looks safe, which it does, and then we're going to try and slowly bring it in. Keep an eye on your speed, keep an eye on the flight deck. At this point, you're going to kind of want to just swivel your eyes a little bit. Now, it does seem that the ship does not have the glide slope indicator on, so I might have forgotten to turn that on. But that's okay. At least I have the wave off lights and stuff like that. No big deal. Just nice, calm, slow, bring it in. Nice feathering. The upside is that Space Engineers auto tries to zero your velocity, so that makes it super easy when you just release the space bar. Alright, nice and easy. Don't hit the tower. Alright, too slow. But that's okay. You know the relative velocity. It's about 12 meters a second, so you know that when you're going below that, the ship is going to go faster than you. And when you're above that, you're going to get closer. So just keep that in mind. Closer. Almost there. Easy. Slow movements. We don't want to do this too much. This is a lot harder with keyboard and mouse, but that's okay. Too fast. That was way too close. What's weird is that the wave off lights didn't go on. Oh, sensor's off. That explains it. That's okay. Nice and easy. These smaller flight decks are a little bit harder to land on. Alright, down, down, down. Once you decide to commit to go down, go down. Try to lock on first. Nope. She's not locking. Crap. Suspension might be too high. Yeah, not locking. Wheels, just drop the strength. Strength is down. Might be height offset. Strength is down. Nope, that's bad. Don't do that. I might be tilted on one of the lights. All right, we're gonna put this on here. Alright, I found the issue. I was actually sitting on that light, which wasn't allowing me to lock. But now that we're good, we're clear. Come on, nice and easy. And you want to kind of go with the ship, full power, and away. You want to avoid the mass, obviously. Don't want to collide. Damn, this thing can pick up some speed. If this were a real aircraft, you would not want to fly over those stacks, but I couldn't help myself. Alright, now we're just going to start heading back toward the battleship. Which you can see just on the distance there. I'm also going to have to set this thing onto a recharge here. No, I think we did well with this group sail. I mean, we got the formation systems are working, which, I mean, barely, but they are working. We got the fleet underway. We managed to get all of these ships and keep them at the sea. We did do a lot of collisions. I'll admit that. That is a huge issue that we're going to have to correct. But other than that, I think it went really well. Now, I think that's good enough that we can actually start getting these ships back home. That said, I don't think I feel comfortable landing these helicopters and operating these ships at night yet. So we're going to probably wrap up the exercise rather than do any further operations. But Erebus is low on fuel. So I'm going to take the opportunity and conduct an unrep. Next episode is pretty much going to be all that. Now, an unrep is an underway replenishment. I've not done this in a long time, and the first time I did it, it bugged out and got a little bit sketchy with terror, and I think we actually almost damaged the ships. So this is obviously a perishable skill and an experimental type of process. So I want to make sure that I rebuild some of those skills that I lost, and I want to be able to achieve doing an underway replenishment. So that's going to be the next episode, and then we're going to try and get the ships back home, and then we'll probably do an AAR and assess how well this exercise did, what we need to improve on, what needs to be fixed, and how we're going to do better on the next one. Now, we're not going to do another one for quite some time because we're going to have to actually do some operations. Like, we're going to have to get the oil rig operational, That has been delayed, but we're going to get it operational. I promise you it's going to be operational. But we're going to also take the opportunity to realize that we had some major issues to solve, like the formation system is a little bit buggy. Terror's got some serious stability issues. Erebus has terrible luck. It seems gotten into almost every single collision. The formation system does kind of work, but the other issue that we had was that Ares was actually not able to connect via Fleet Link, so we weren't actually able to use her in the formation system either, which is a little bit downsizing. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on the next one. I no doubt we'll be super stressed out doing the unrep, but I'm really looking forward to it. Hope you guys are enjoying this. Definitely check out the links below for some of the blueprints. I've dropped a modded pack for this world, so if you want to try it yourself, go ahead, give it a shot. I cannot guarantee it'll work because it is all experimental. That said, definitely check the link down below for Discord. I've been doing some polls again for some other videos that I'm working on. A lot of great guys in there that we can talk to. We share pictures. You guys can see some upcoming stuff that I'm working on. And I will hopefully see you all in the next one. Until then, catch you later.